It's Rob and Sandra with my wife, the dietitian, and this is Nutrition Nuggets.
Yeah, and it's all about hydration because we're just on the brink of summer here.
Summertime.
Yeah, it's hot and we start losing more fluid just walking around and doing our regular activities. And then if you're active, you're losing more fluid. So we got to keep hydrated.
With water. Not with beer and coolers and all those other things. It's water is essential.
Yeah, water's the best fluid for sure. And I think we do take it for granted because most of us have always had access to clean, drinkable water. So it's kind of something we take for granted. And many people didn't grow up drinking water as a priority. So it's kind of something that I think kids nowadays are learning to have their water bottle and keep drinking water.
Yeah, I remember talking to Wendy Shaw in her episode last week about the Craving Change episode, and she was saying how there's just so many more options now for drinking, like for hydrating, and like when her parents grew up, they had water.
Yeah, water
that
and
was
milk
kind of the option, right?
Yeah.
And so it's harder now to get water because you're drinking your coffee or your pop or your juice or your sports drink or all the other things that are out there, and they're not necessarily all going to give you the same benefits that water is going to give you, right?
Yeah, and it's funny, like our food bills, our food costs are going up, and it boggles my mind that people are still buying flats of carbonated water or pop, or just it's kind of, if you prioritize your spending, you wouldn't necessarily buy things in cans. Like, why not just use water from the tap?
Yeah, exactly.
It's free. I mean, it's relatively free. I mean, it's a lot cheaper than buying something that's in a can that you have to recycle and all that. Like, it's just, and also I think kids, if they have a taste for water when they're young and know that that's kind of the taste instead of taste for sweet, because it's easy to get that taste for sweet early on and
it's
want
hard
the
to
pop.
It's hard to get rid of too once you have it.
Yeah. And it is so important because our body's like 60% fluid, and there's so many functions in our body that need the water. So like our body temperature, just keeping that in a good range, and our blood pressure, and to carry the nutrients around.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That kind of makes sense, I guess.
Well, we talked to Jen Hernandez recently on kidney disease and just the long-term consequences of not getting enough fluid. It really does affect your kidneys. You can get kidney stones and then chronic kidney disease. And part of that is just you need those, remember that stream or the river flowing of water, because if it dries up, you think of what it looks like in a stream. And if you don't have enough water or fluid in your body, then you can't carry those nutrients around.
Right. True. It's just kind of like keeps things moving.
Exactly. It's a lubricant too in the body.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And so there's signs and symptoms of dehydration to watch for. So if your urine is really concentrated and odorous, like dark looking, your body's kind of preserving everything it has. So you're probably not drinking enough fluid.
Yeah, that's a really obvious one. Sandra told me that years ago, and it's really easy. And I mean, if you're going pee a lot, that's a pretty good indication that you're drinking a lot of fluid too. So those are just things to pay attention to.
Yeah. When you wake up in the morning, typically if you've been sleeping for, over 8 hours, then your body needs some fluid. You need to have some water when you first wake up because you lose fluid over the night.
Right.
And that's why, when people, like, if they're weighing themselves and they see that their weight is the least when they first wake up, it's because they're mildly dehydrated.
And their stomach's probably empty. They haven't eaten for 8 or 10 hours. So,
but you've also lost fluid because your body, you lose 10 cups of fluid in a normal day.
Wow. So that's why you have to drink 10 cups.
Yeah. So how do we lose it?
Well, sweating and breathing and going pee.
And poop. Yeah.
And poop.
Yeah. All those things, excretion. So yeah, episode 26, back last summer, we discussed this topic in detail. If you want to scroll back to that one and click on that, that would be good. because, it's important that you do get enough fluid so you don't get those headaches and the fatigue and the nausea. Actually, if you're dehydrated, you can get nauseated. You can have loss of appetite. You can get dry mouth. So those are all symptoms too to watch out for.
Yeah. And it's good to just get into a routine of, a regular, just having a cup of water on a regular basis or having your water bottle with you. I leave a glass by the sink. And I work at home, so I'm into the kitchen often. And every time I see my glass, I just fill it with water and have my glass of water. And I've got my water bottle with me all the time. And so I'm not counting how many glasses of water I'm having, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting enough just based on how many cups or how often I'm drinking.
Right. And yeah, some people do that. Like every time they go into the washroom, they would have a cup of water just at that time.
Yeah.
Or a meal, every time you have a meal or a snack, have some fluid then.
Yeah, exactly.
You can prevent the long-term consequences could be colon cancer, bladder cancer, heart disease. So there are actual conditions and diseases that are a result of chronic dehydration and like not getting enough fluid over time.
Yeah, for sure.
And obviously, like constipation, not obviously, but to me, it's obvious. If you're not getting enough fluid, then it's like, if you're mixing cement, and you don't have enough water, it just turns to cement. Like it's solid.
Yeah.
And that happens in the bowel too. If you don't have enough fluid, then you can get constipated. So it really affects your bowel health and also your urinary tract health. So you can get urinary tract infections are common with people that are not getting enough fluid through the day.
Right.
They forget to drink. I mean, that's another thing. I think there's apps now where you can put it on your phone or you can have a reminder that ding, just kind of like, I had that on one time a couple of years ago and it drove me crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, they do help. If that's something that is a struggle for you to remember to drink water, that might be a good way to get in the habit of reminding yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you don't want kidney stones. I mean, they say that it's, more painful than giving birth if you have to pass a kidney stone. So
yeah, I don't want to do either of those.
No, exactly. No, that's right. So how much water do you think we need?
I think it's more than we think because it used to be 8 cups a day. And I think it's more like 10 or 12 now, isn't it?
Well, yeah, average like 9 cups a day. If we're talking a cup is 250 mils. So that's all fluid. It's not just water.
Did you say 9?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a new number. Okay. 9 cups.
No, it's a good, well, you said 8 originally and then 10. It depends on a lot of factors.
Yeah. It depends if you're sitting on the couch or if you're out moving and
what you're eating. If you eat a diet of like lots of packaged food, like ultra processed foods, or if you have a diet high in salt.
I was going to say high salt diet, you need more water, right?
That's right. And protein. If you have a lot of protein in your diet.
And why is that? Because that, what does it do? It makes you lose, what's the dietitian term for all that?
Excretion?
No, it makes you thirsty. Yes. But there's a word for that.
Oh, you mean the salt?
Yeah. What does the salt do?
Oh, it's like the osmosis. So that it's like that's why when you have too much salt in your artery, like in your bloodstream, then it retains salt. It's like edema and it's fluid retention. And
what's the word for that? Because you always say, if you drink coffee,
diuretic?
Diuretic, it dehydrates you.
Yeah, but that's not with salt.
Salt doesn't dehydrate you?
Yeah. Salt does, sorry.
Okay, so that's the word I was looking for, dehydrate.
But a diuretic is different. It makes you lose fluid.
Yeah, no, salt, I was thinking dehydrate. Okay, carry on.
Okay, and 20% of our fluids come from our food, especially if you eat lots of fruit.
Yeah, or like things like celery or lettuce or those kind of water-based vegetables. They have some water in them too, right?
You got it.
I do.
That's right. So yeah, it's just a reminder, public service announcement to keep yourself hydrated in these warmer months. Yep.
Just keep your water bottle handy and just try to get into that routine of drinking water often.
Also, if you are active and you're exercising for more than half an hour at a time, then you're going to have higher fluid needs, because you're sweating.
Yeah, makes sense, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, other than you were saying, if you're sitting on the couch or if you're active, that will affect how much fluid you need. Also, if you're sick, if you're you have a fever, or if you're losing fluid through maybe you have diarrhea or you have other problems, then that will affect how much fluid you need too.
I wonder if people think that they only need to drink if they're doing it, like working out or something. I think maybe that's a good point to make. It's like, even if you're sitting at a desk all day, you still need to drink water.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll feel better. I mean, if you are hydrated, you do have more energy than if you're mildly dehydrated. Like, it's an interesting scenario. If you start drinking, another cup of water a day that you're not used to, it actually helps you feel better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, totally. I notice when I haven't had my glass of water, I'll have left my water bottle somewhere, and it'll be like, oh, I haven't had water in a couple hours. I can feel it. I feel like, yeah, something's different. So get in that habit. So what are we working on for next week?
Next Monday, we're going to be talking with dietitian Rochelle Inwood, who wrote a book about the keto diet, and to help people with kind of deciphering what different diets like the keto variations are, and just some explanation around keto eating.
Right. Okay. We'll be learning all about the science-based facts about keto.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information out there about keto, and I'm not sure how much of it is correct. So it'll be good to talk to someone who's kind of researched it all and get some good tips on that.
Yeah, we talk about like the clean eating keto and the dirty keto and the lazy keto and all the different terms that are out there.
All the different ketos.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that should be really, really informative.
Awesome. Well, in the meantime, you can check out the social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and you can visit our website. There's lots of new blog posts up there. That's mywifethedietitian.com. You can email us your questions if you have any at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to rate and review the show. We always appreciate hearing your comments there and getting your ratings and reviews. Anything else?
That's it.
That is it. All right. Have a great week, everyone. Go drink your water. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.